Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I will read a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, and verse 15. I will read it in Sanskrit, and then I'll try to explain in English. So, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that Arjuna, I reside in the heart of all living entities. Sarvasya chaham hridi. This word hridi means in the heart. Sannivishtu, very, very close. Sannivishtu means very close. Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha, and residing so close to the heart of every living entity, I supply wisdom, jnanam. And I also act in giving him remembrance. And I also make him forget. So all three comes from God, from Krishna. Wisdom, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Because Krishna, God, he is the super soul residing in the heart of everyone. So therefore from this, we can conclude that knowledge of transcendence is not a product of this material world. It is not something that this phenomenal world can actually give us. Everything, including the wisdom and knowledge. It is also available in this material world. But this wisdom and knowledge, what we can acquire from this material world, is temporary, and we will forget. Certainly. Because unless we forget non-essential things, our mind will not be able to focus on essential things. Therefore, Krishna, being very kind, makes us forget those non-essential things which actually don't matter in our pursuit for eternal happiness, eternal knowledge, and immortality. These are actually the qualities of the soul. The soul is never destroyed. So, the mind, the consciousness, has to free itself from non-essential, unimportant knowledge, information. Let's call them information. It can't be called knowledge, because otherwise we will tend to mix up the two, knowledge and information. Information is what comes to us over our senses and the mind. That is information. And it is always temporary and non-essential. So Krishna is saying that I make it possible that you forget anything that you forget. I make it possible. And everything that you remember, I make it possible. That means in the course of your many lives, the essential wisdom that you have acquired, or even in this lifetime, after reading the Bhagavad Gita, the wisdom, the knowledge that you acquire, I shall make you remember that. At the same time, I will continue to supply with proper knowledge. Now, what does it mean, proper knowledge? See, the difference between knowledge and information, as we said, is information deals with non-essential temporary things, which come under the influence of duality and time factor. Whereas real knowledge is from the absolute realm. It belongs to the transcendental region, which is far beyond the approach and grasp of our senses. So therefore, these three, which is supplied by Krishna, while he resides in the heart, are very important for our development of our consciousness. So that from a consciousness which is captive at the present moment by this information that we receive from this material world, does not allow us to have free access to the spiritual realm. In order to grasp, comprehend spiritual knowledge, we require to understand the difference between these two. Unless we understand the difference between material knowledge, rather information, and spiritual wisdom, which is perfect, which is eternal, which has already been there all the time, and it emanates from God. Now, what Krishna is saying, that the goal of spiritual life is to attain the direct meeting with God. That is the goal of spiritual life, that we can see God face to face. But this is possible by following the path of spirituality which has been laid down by God. Since He is the goal of our spiritual pursuit, then He is in the best position to speak about Himself. So therefore, the Vedas are saying that true religion is always enunciated by God alone. No one else can enunciate, can delineate true religion, which will bring us in contact and face to face with God, where we, with humble submission, will render eternal service to Him, because He is our worshipful Lord and Master. So therefore, Krishna is making it clear that it is I who alone can delineate what is true religion, That means what is real spiritual life. Because it's all about me. The more you know about me, the more you can surrender to me, the more you can love me, the more you devoted you can become to me. You cannot become devoted to a person or love a person that we don't know. It is not possible. So therefore, who is in the best position to talk about God? The God himself. Just like when anybody wants to know me, and I am the only person who knows myself intimately. All the confidential matters which no one else knows, I alone know. So when I reveal this to someone, such a person gets to know me properly. Similarly, God speaks of himself in the Bhagavad Gita. He is speaking about his nature. He is speaking about his qualities, qualifications, his activities. All these things he himself is speaking. Because no one other than God himself knows the kind of activities he has performed. Because he is performing so many actions and nobody is actually witness to it. So how can they speak about something that they are not witness to? So, from within our heart, God residing there, he is saying that I give you wisdom. What wisdom? That wisdom you will find in the Vedas. That in this verse, it is said here that Vedaischa sarvai aham eva vidyo. Throughout in the entire Vedas, I am to be known. There's no second person to be known through the study of the Vedas. So if you make the target, the goal of studying the scriptures to know me in person, then that study is proper. But if one studies the scriptures with other intentions, with other goals, then his study will be imperfect, incorrect, and incomplete. So therefore, just to make sure that we understand that he, Krishna, has given all about himself, his actions, his qualities, his appearance, his looks, where he stays. All these informations we find in the Vedas. And therefore, Krishna is saying that just study the Vedas under the guidance of a self-realized teacher. If you study the Vedas under the auspices of a self-realized soul, a saintly personality, simply knowledge is not enough. One has to live according to the knowledge. And a saint is that person who not only has this knowledge or realized this knowledge, but lives according to it. Because only a saintly person can approach God. God will never reveal himself, Krishna will never reveal himself to anyone who is not completely free from all sinful reactions, and not only sinful reactions, but also the tendency to sin, the desire to sin, must be also free from that. And therefore, he is the compiler of the Vedas, and he is to be known throughout the Vedas. So a study of the Vedas with this in mind, with this goal, that I want to know who is my worshipful personality, whom am I worshipping, who do I surrender to, who do I love. Now one may ask, why is it necessary to love or devote? Because any person with a proper attitude, what is known as a gentleman, is someone who is grateful for receiving something extremely worthy. What is that we have received that is very much worthy? We have received this human birth. That is very worthy. There's nothing more worthy than this human life. Nothing more worthy. Then therefore, to make our life actually worthy, we have to connect with God in gratitude and in devotion. So since we have received everything, even before we actually came to this world, even before we were born in this world, everything for my maintenance and sustenance was already there before. So, why should not we be thankful? Why should there be a thanklessness in our ingratitude? Those who are ungrateful to God, they are worse than animals. That's what is being said. Even if one is not, let's not talk about being grateful to God. Even amongst human beings, even amongst animals, there is the sense of gratitude for anything that has been done for me, which I very much appreciate, which is very worthy. Even in an animal will reciprocate with someone who has saved his life or has saved him from some danger. Even an animal. Now those human beings especially, who are ungrateful to God, they're actually worse than animals. So therefore, how do we show our gratitude? Simply saying, thank you God, finished. No. There has to be an action following this feeling, this understanding that I have received everything from God. And therefore, even in a sense of duty, even if I don't have to do it out of devotion, but it's a sense of duty, I should be grateful for all that I have received from God. So Krishna is therefore saying that to be grateful, even if you want to be grateful, even if you want to be devoted to me, you have to know who I am. Otherwise, how is it possible to show your gratitude and your devotion to a non-persona, an anonymous, somebody who's there, but I don't know who that person is. That is an anonymous thing. So therefore, to make sure that anyone, be it out of gratitude, be it out of devotion, be it out of love, wants to approach me, then that person or those persons must know who I am. And therefore, Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita, I am revealing myself to you so that everyone can understand who I am. And also understand how I can be reached. What is the way to reach me? Simply speculating, oh, this will please God, that will please God, is not the proper way. Devotion And gratefulness means, has my gratitude, has my devotion been accepted by God? How do I know? There's a reciprocation. This is what I will experience deep within myself. Because God exists for those who trust Him. And God does not exist for those who don't trust Him. However, it hardly matters if a blind person refuses to accept that the sun exists. The sun is not bothered about it. And therefore God is also not, in that sense at all, in any sense, becomes angry. He doesn't become angry. If someone doesn't want to accept His existence and give Him, having devotion to Him, it doesn't matter to Him. But it certainly pains God to see that one of His, or many of His sons and daughters have not understood this essential point that nothing can come into existence without the sanction of God.